Hey, welcome back to the mill. My name is Bill. This is Pirate Solutions Forestry, and I'm hanging out with broke ass arm Danny. He didn't break his arm, but he ripped up his pad pretty good, so he's got himself actually a double layer of protection on right now. And it's kind of maintenance day on the mill. I had to run out this morning, buy fuel for the Bobcat, fuel for my chainsaws, bar and chain oil. Put some money in the bank, the whole 9 yards, and now it's afternoon, and I have got to do some servicing on the Bobcat, clean up around the mill yard a little bit. But one thing that I have to do that I thought might make a good video is I have to repair a chain on a chainsaw. And it's not just any chain, it's one of those little micro chains. So I'll show you what's going on. Hopefully some of you will find this interesting. This is my wife's Steel MS-180C. And this 180C is a great little trim saw. It's good for trimming around the mill. It's good for doing joinery and stuff like that. I use it a lot out in the field for joinery, cutting and trimming tenons, things like that. And the chain's very damaged. So what happened once upon a time, I was doing some work around the mill. I had to cut some metal out of a log. I hit the metal with the saw. Chain is very damaged, and I'm going to show you a close-up, and I am going to show you how to fix it. So if you have climbing saws, or if you're a homeowner and you have small chainsaws with the little micro chain or a Pico chain, then this might be the video for you. Now I'm going to show you around the chain a little bit. Actually, I'm going to put you back in the holder 1 second. Get my other glove off here so I have my regular hand. And I am going to mark a tooth at some point, and we're going to show you around the chain. So this chain's heavily damaged. This chain will not cut, but the saw starts great, runs great, and it's awesome for around the mill for trimming up stuff. You know, some of you might say, well, get an electric saw. Well, that's great. You still got to make the chain work. So if you look at this tooth right here, you can see how the whole chunk of the tooth is knocked off. This won't cut. This is totally dull and destroyed. You know, this is actually to the point where if you're a homeowner and you don't know how to sharpen, where you go out and buy a new chain. Just going to show you some close-ups at how bad this is, and then I'll show you how to fix it and what they look like when they're fixed. You can see how that tip of that tooth is totally gone, totally knocked off, completely dull. And I mean, they're all like this. This saw became a sacrificial lamb for a situation that I ended up with in the field. And sometimes for a $25 chain, you're willing to do this kind of damage to it. You know, I would never recommend anybody on purpose doing this kind of damage to a chain, because this chain obviously is wiped, like will not cut wiped. So what we're going to do is, rather than buy a new chain, rather than putting this chain on the grinder, we are going to fix it. So I'm going to get you a tooth. I'm going to show you first. Let's pick a bad one on the left side. I always like to file left side first. So wow, I don't know why I can't get that to focus in there. So you can see that the tip is totally knocked off this. I'll do a left and a right, and then I'll rip through the whole chain just to show you. But you can see how that, even on round ground chain, on semi-chisel round ground chain, if you totally destroy this corner, it's not going to cut. Actually, this one's pretty destroyed here. Yeah, you can see that one right there. That's the one we're going to work on first. And then we'll do the rest of them. This will probably only take really a few minutes. Um, I'm going to try and stop saying. I don't know why all of a sudden I got it in my head. But we are going to fix this chain and make a cut with it. I'm going to try to get you the best possible view that I can. Get my gloves on. We're going to start with that tooth that I just showed you guys. I always mark a tooth. I keep Sharpies right in my filing pack. I know you can't see my face right now, but I think it's better that you focus on the chain. Now, the first thing that I'm going to do, and I believe in this wholeheartedly, is even on a micro chain, if you can fit a 7/32 file between the raker drag depth gauge and the tooth, I think you should file with it. And the reason being is that it stays above the top of the tooth, it sharpens the cutting edge, and it works very quickly. So what I'm going to do is first, I'm going to use a 7/32 file, and I'm going to file these teeth back to take the damage out of them with the 7/32. And I'm going to file them somewhere around 25 degrees. Man, this next one is mashed. That's the next one we're going to want to fix. And these teeth are probably not going to all come out the same length. But I just want to show you with a 7/32, that's all it takes right there. Those 3 file strokes on a Pico chain like this to take the damage out of the tooth. I'll show you that. Now, I'm going to take you out of the holder. I'm going to take you down and show you that tooth. This was the damaged tooth. Try and get you some good views here. I got to get down low. So this is the tooth that I just filed. And I don't know if you can see that the entire tooth is filed or not. I'll show you the top of it. So the damage is completely filed out of this tooth, like with 4 swipes. And that's one reason why I like using the 7/32 file. Now you can see it does file down in the tie straps a little bit, and that's no big deal. Let's look at the C on the back of this tooth, see what that looks like. All right, so this is the tooth here. So you can see that using the 7/32, it creates almost a straight up and down tooth. There's almost no forward lean in this tooth, no rake angle. It's a very, very durable cutting edge, but it would cut pretty slow. Very, very durable, though. That would last a long time in cutting. So what we're going to do is we're going to go through and we're going to repair this chain. In other words, get them all back to basic geometry like this one and get all the damage out of them. And then we can shift over to a 5/32. I pick them up whenever I find them. Sometimes I'll grab one at Steel. This one just happens to be a Husqvarna. Sometimes I'll grab them at Tractor Supply if they have them on sale on the rack. I don't use 5/32 very often, but in this case, what we'll do is we'll use it to improve that C on that tooth, and then we'll cut with it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get you guys lined up here, try and get you a good view. We're going to go through, and I'm going to file out this whole chain back to good geometry, nice cutting edges, and then we'll throw a 5/32 on it, and we will go ahead and file some rake angle into this so that these teeth will dig in a little bit. So this is the next one. This was really badly damaged. Fixed. When I say badly damaged, I guess I got to show you guys this. I don't know how many people this is going to turn off. If you're into repairing chains and stuff like that, then you'll watch. But here's the one I just did. All right. Now, tooth is repaired. Here's the next tooth right here. I need something in there. I don't know if you can see that corner on that tooth and how bad it's knocked off. You see how bad it is on the top, inside towards the file, how bad that corner's knocked off. And then the same thing on this next one here. See how bad that's knocked off. Okay, I'm going to file those two, and then I'll show you. This only takes a few swipes with a 7/32, and I'm eyeballing the angle. I'm not even going to put my other glove back on. I'm sick of taking it off. So this was the one I just did. This is the new one. You got to make sure that your file fits in between the drag and the tooth. This one's been filed just enough so it does. If it doesn't, you got to go right down to 5/32. Okay, that tooth is repaired. We'll go to the next one. Get my file down in there. Sometimes you can force it down in, and once you make a swipe, these teeth are so soft that it just goes right back to that tooth is repaired. Make sure that angle's right. This one's wrecked. Sorry, I am putting a little bit of backwards pressure on it, but I'm trying to file them over to about 25, 30 degrees, somewhere in there, and get the damage out of them. If this was a brand new chain, you would not be able to fit this in there. Half the battle just getting it in. Perfect. This one's got a lot of damage on it. I just want to force it through the first time just to make room for the file. And then file back until I don't see any damage on that corner anymore. This one's pretty bad. We are definitely going to have to set the rakers on this too. Drags, depth gauges, whatever you want to call them. I apologize for pulling out every now and then. I am putting a lot of pressure on this. But with a good sharp file, this happens pretty quick. This tooth isn't even damaged right here. I am just going to take it back a little bit so that it's not standing super proud. Oop. Once you make room for the file, it goes pretty quick, but the first couple of strokes are just making room for the file. And then we're just taking it back at whatever the angle I want to produce, somewhere around 25, 30. I think these chains typically come 30. I'm not sure that's the best idea in the world. It's nice for hitting limbs. 30 is a nice shear angle for limbs because it's not really super grabby. Okay, that side's done. Let's do the other side. Get you guys a view from here. If I can get my... Okay, so I like to file the other side from the top. So this was a starting point. I'm going to file through this way. Got to get the file in the gap. I'm eyeballing my tooth angle because, just to be honest with you, I've done this so many times that I know what angle is right. This file's starting to get white too. That tooth was kind of hard, but it is repaired. Try to keep my arm down out of your way. Tooth is repaired. That one, yep. Once I find a good sharp part of the file, I'll kind of stay there. And I think what we'll do is maybe we'll cut it with the 7/32 profile, or cut with it, and then show you the difference between that and a 5/32 profile. I'm not sure yet. I think it'd be just better if I just went through it at 5/32 and gave myself some rake angle to create a little bit more of aggressive chain. You kind of want these little chains to be somewhat aggressive. Like I said, when you're limbing and stuff like that, if they're more aggressive, they cut faster and they won't be so grabby. So right now, all I'm doing is repairing teeth and putting them over to 25, 30 degrees, something like that. With the 7/32 file, which makes short work of these because so much of the file is on the tooth. The first part, like I said, is just kind of getting the file in there, and then I can rock it over and file out the edge like that. I'm almost done. Only got a couple teeth left to do. I am waiting for a couple of customers today to come out and pick up some lumber. All right, so that is done with the 7/32 file. Now I'm going to switch over to a 5/32 file. This file is pretty white. Well, it's just pulling out of this Husqvarna pack here. I think Husqvarna is pretty much made by Oregon. And I think that steel files are made by Velour, which is what the file that I use most of the time, of Velour files. Let's get that 7/32 out, put the 5/32 in. Also, as a do not hold this like this and pound this file down to bang it into your handle. I have had the files fall out and stick literally through my hand. Don't do that. Okay, we're just kind of stick it on there, hold on to it. I'm going to tap it down just so we can hold it. And what we're going to do is I'm going to show you the starter tooth, the rake angle, before and after here. So I'm going to pull you out. I'm going to pull out. So here is our, I don't know if you guys can remember from when we first showed it. Here's the starter tooth. And you can see that the rake angle on it is almost non-existent. It's pretty much straight up and down. There's no C, no curve in that tooth. Now, this is a nice durable edge and that will last a long time. However, we're going to make it more aggressive here. So the only difference is going to be that we're going to use a smaller file, and that smaller file is going to fit down inside the tooth better, and it's going to undercut the tooth a little bit, and it's going to create some C. So let's do one tooth first, and I'll show you the C. Then I'll rip through the rest of this chain. I'll probably pause you when I set my drags, just because that might take a few minutes. Now, there's no reason for you to be looking down right now on me. I am not changing the length of the tooth right now. All I'm doing is undercutting the tooth till the file comes in contact with the edge. And now we'll take you out and we'll show you what C should look like. Damn it. I don't know why I keep doing that. So here's the tooth that I just did, the red one. Now, if you look at the tooth, now you see the C. All right, now you see the forward lean. Oh, sorry. Now you see the forward lean. Now you see that nice C and the forward lean of the leading edge, which is your rake angle, which needs to be, the more positive that is, the more you undercut this tooth, the more aggressive this is going to cut. Right now, that's a really nice, perfect C right there. So I'm going to go through this chain like that. I'll show you a few, and I'll probably pause you because I don't know that it's going to do you any good just to watch me rocking through a chain or not. But this is taking a severely damaged chain that will not cut and taking it back to like brand new. Even better, maybe even better than brand new. So basically, I'm undercutting the tooth and I'm watching my leading edge, and I'm just waiting until the file. I probably should show you this. Probably should show you at least what I'm looking at. So I just did this one. You see how the file, God, I wish it would focus. Come on, focus. There you go. You see how the file in this is up against the tooth. It's under the tooth and up against the cutting edge. If you go back to the next one, see the gap between the cutting edge and the file? The file's all the way down, and it's not touching the cutting edge yet. So I need to file out what's under the cutting edge until that file gets back up against it like it is on this one. Okay, that's what I'm doing right now. It's very simple. I'm not changing the length of the teeth now. The teeth are kind of at their length that they're going to be. I'll kind of show you down like this as I do it. So I'm filing out the gullet until my file comes against the leading edge of the tooth, just like that. That's it. Next one, same thing, filing out the gullet, and I'm filing back until I see the file drag across the leading edge. Same thing here. All I'm doing is undercutting the tooth and adding some rake angle. Now, Buck and Billy Ray Smith calls this the baby C when he does a big chain with this kind of file. But this is a little chain, not a big chain. As soon as I see that file drag across the whole edge, I'm done. I've added my rake angle. Now I've turned this tooth back to better than brand new. Oops. Get the gullet out of the way. Come back. Perfect. Gullet out of the way. I'm actually putting a little down pressure on it. Now I'm filing back until I see it clean up the cutting edge. Perfect. Gullet out of the way. Coming back until I see it come across the cutting edge. Perfect. So I'm adding rake angle right now so that this chain will cut aggressively. But not too much rake angle so that it's going to dull quick. You guys saw the baby C, the C that I was producing. It's not like it's some ridiculous race C. It's just a normal chain profile. Okay, that side's done. We're going to do the other side. I like to get myself in a comfortable position. Yep. And here's my starting point. We'll pull it up here. And all I'm going to do is, just like the other side, I'm going to undercut the tooth. Now, my pressure changes on this side a little bit. It works a little bit more efficiently, so it kind of digs down on its own. double left-hand cutters there. As soon as I see it clean up, this tooth is hardened. As soon as this tooth is hardened. As soon as I see it clean up the cutting edge, it's done. And all I'm doing right now is just creating a little bit of rake angle, give myself a little bit more of an aggressive cutting profile. The teeth are already repaired. And I'll show you your way through the chain when I'm done. This doesn't take long. It's not like this takes a long time to do. Oh, there you go. The last tooth, take the gullet out and file across the angle nice and straight till I see the whole cutting edge clean up. Okay. Now I will take you out of the holder. I will show you those teeth, what the chain looks like now. I gotta find Danny too. Danny, where are you? Oh, it's right there. You can see his big old thing on his foot. Let me just get my, well, maybe I can focus in with my glove on. So let's take a look at this chain now. So this is where I started. So you can see they're all about 25 degrees. I am going to pause you guys and check my raker depth. I'm sure it's high. This might only take me a second, but I want to check it without having you have to sit here and watch me do it. Okay, now I'm going to show you a little trick on these little Pico chains. So most of the time with a Pico chain, you're not making huge, big, fat, wide cuts like you are in a bucking saw. So what I've determined is that 5 swipes gets me down to 30 thousandths depth between these two. All my teeth are relatively the same size. This is one time I don't set it with a progressive gauge because these teeth have a little double raker here that doesn't fit through. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through and put 5 swipes on every set of rakers working away from the tooth so I don't hit the tooth. That was 6. I'm just going to double check that, make sure that that is right at the 30 thousandths. And it looks beautiful. You can check across the top of the teeth. I got plenty of clearance. So 5 swipes-ish. One of them didn't cut really good, so it is going to be about right. So we're just going to do 5 on each. And if you feel like one of the cuts doesn't work good, then you can go ahead and do an extra one. I am angling them off just a little bit. I did 7 on that one because it didn't cut good like that's hardened. This one too. This is not a milling chain, so it doesn't matter if they're all perfectly set like on a milling chain. We're really looking for these to cut. And usually you're cutting small stuff and you don't really care if they're not all perfect. That one cut really good. Get a couple of skady passes there, so I'm just gonna take about 5 swipes off each, unless I find a very unproductive swipe, and then I'll take an extra one. Almost done. I'm using the front side of the file because that usually doesn't dull as quick as the middle. Cut really good the last couple of passes. That cut really good. Cuts really good over the vise. All right, so that's the whole chain. I'm going to pause you guys again, and I'm going to actually start this saw up. It hasn't run in quite a while, and we'll make a couple cuts with it. We'll see how it cuts. All right, so I got it started up. We're going to just trim off the end of this softwood, and then we're going to hit this black locust right here. So we're going to take a trim off the end of that softwood right there. And cut really good. I'm going to check it out in hardwood in this black locust right here. Show you this limb right here. See this little limb sticking off this black locust. So I will shut this thing off. Got my trim saw back. And we will just kind of take a couple of bangs on this stuff just so you know that this isn't rotten. Show you what that looks like cut-wise. That is black locust. It's nice and solid. And as far as the pine, it went right through it like nothing. Good sized chips. It's cutting perfect. So perfect little trim saw for the mill so that I can bring it out here. One that starts easy. It's not an electric saw, but starts easy, cuts good, just for trimming limbs and things like that. So I just want to take you through the process of repairing the chain. One that was heavily damaged. 9 times out of 10, any homeowner is just pulling, going to buy a new chain. It only takes a few minutes to fix a chain like that. Like I said, start with 730 seconds. I could have stopped at 730 seconds. It would not cut this fast. As you saw that go through that black locust, it would have cut much slower in the black locust, but the edge would have lasted longer if I stopped at the 730 seconds. By adding the rake angle and giving that tooth a little lead like this, makes it a little more aggressive, makes it cut a little faster. And to be honest with you, when you're cutting limbs and stuff like that, that's really what you want. You want the thing to feed through really quick. It's not as grabby, shooting limbs back at you and things like that when you're working in a tree or a snag or whatever. And for around the mill, I'm just going to be trimming limbs with it and things like that. So that's repaired. That's how you do it. If you have any questions or suggestions or anything, I am still working on the mechanics gloves. I did get some mechanics gear I wore this morning, which was kind of cool. I still have not put a hole in these gloves. How? I don't know. I don't know what the leather is in these fingers, but you're not able to buy these yet. These are prototypes, and they want feedback on them. And my feedback on these could not be better. I mean, these blow away my steel technical gloves that cost $40. No, I'm sorry, my Husqvarna technical gloves that cost $40. And actually, Mechanics makes them for Husqvarna. But if I wore my brand new pair of Husqvarna technical gloves the same amount of time that I wore these, I'd already have holes in the fingers. These do not, and they're very, very, have good dexterity. I'm working with Mechanics on giving them feedback on this prototype pair and another pair. And really, my feedback could not possibly be better. These are awesome. Can do all this weird stuff, even rebuilding a saw or working with screws or whatever, and work with these gloves. And I still have not put a hole in the finger. I'm getting close. I'm getting close. So I'm going to show you this. Full disclosure. I can see skin through there. Yep. All right. So I can see skin right there. So I do have officially my first hole in these gloves. And these have lasted quite a while. So that's pretty much it. I kind of got to keep an eye on Danny today, make sure he's not running around. I am waiting, like I said, for a couple customers to come pick up some wood. I got to service the Bobcat, grease it, fuel it. And then I have to go pick out some logs out of the woods that I'm going to mill tomorrow. One reason why I wanted this little trimming saw is that I can make some trim cuts. And I do have a big pine log I have to slab for my slab customer that's got a bunch of branches on it that I want to trim off. So that's what I'm doing today. If you don't do maintenance service days around your mill and stuff like that, then it will end up totally unworkable. As anybody who watches my videos, if you watched last week, especially when I milled not the 5x5s, but just before that, like the 18 footers, when I milled the 18 footers, you saw what I was walking around in next to the mill. It's all gone now. You need to have days like this, and it kind of sucks because, you're not really making any money, but hopefully these customers come and pick up all this wood, and then I will make some money today. But other than that, I'm going to get at it, and if I shoot another video, I do. If not, hope you guys have a great day. Hope you had a great Labor Day weekend. And from myself and Danny, this is Pirate Solutions out.